Well, hello everyone, my name is Passek, the FlyFish Fanatic, and welcome to my tying bench. Today I'll be tying a kind of a natural looking snatcher type pattern. It's a great little natural pattern. It works really well in the rivers and in the lakes. I've got just the tiniest bit of flash in it, but just tiny. I want it to be quite natural looking, this fly. So we'll switch it over. I'm actually, hopefully there's no bump here. I'm going to move my mic closer. There we go. So, adjust my light just a little bit. So, today in the vise, I'm going to start off with a Hends BL354 size 8. Any nice wide-gapped straight shank hook with a downturned eye works for these. I really like my my Hens hooks, and I really like Hanek hooks as well, but Hens are my favorite. I'll be using some Semperfli NanoSilk in a white. It's actually a white gray. I will be using some hare's mask. Ooh, it's kind of, yeah, hare's mask. I'm going to be taking it from the ear section here, for the body. I will be using some hen pheasant for hackle. I'll also be using a little piece of this badger for hackle. And I will be using some Semperfli copper hollow tinsel in a, yeah, I think it's a medium. Alrighty, that's the only flash that's in this whole thing. So just going to start off my thread as usual. Get her all started up. I'll leave her at the front here, cut off my waist. And then I'm going to take one of my hackle fibers here. I'll try to find a fairly thin one. There's one there. And then I'm going to grab it by the tip. Okay, I'm going to grab it with my hackle pliers right as close as I can to the tip there, so I can just stroke back and find my tie-in point. Okay, and then I'm going to come back to where I want to tip the body to end, which is about there, and then right there is where I'm going to tie in my hackle. Oops. Just tying off this loose stuff, doesn't really matter. Okay, and I'm just going to come back here, roughly a couple of eyes behind the eye. I'm going to stay back a couple of millimeters there. And on my side, I'm just going to tie in the hollow tinsel all the way back to the tie-in point where I just ripped off my hackle. I was a little too rough with it. That's okay. I can still get it back in there. I'm gonna have to grab another hackle fiber here, and I'm gonna redo that because that wouldn't have been easy to tie in properly there. So I'm actually gonna just quickly go back and undo this hollow tinsel. And I could leave it in, but I like having it proper, in the proper way. So I'm gonna come back to my tie-in point again, do my same thing. Hackle pliers, grab the tip, find a tie-in point, lay it in. Yeah, it was a little rough with that hollow tinsel, but beauty of fly tying, you can always undo stuff. Again, it's going to lay this in on my side. This hackle that I just tied in is a little on the old side too, so it is a little brittle, but not a huge deal. Okay, so now I'm going to come back to here just for now, and I'm going to unspin my thread. I want to flatten my thread because I'm going to do a split thread technique for my dubbing. In the meantime, I'm just going to go into the ear section, right here in the ears. You can see, like right there, I've already kind of made it a little bald. So that's where I'm going to go. And I'm just going to, with my fingertips, just going to pull off a bunch of this material. Just pull it right off the mask. So you can dub this on just regular. You can do it in a dubbing loop. You can do it in however you want to do it. I'm going to do it in a split thread dubbing loop. I find normally I've got the most control with it. It can be a little tricky with these smaller fibers like this, but I do want the stuff right off the hare's ear here, because I want that it's a bit spikier. Right, this stuff off the hare's ear. If I try to take the stuff off the mask here, it's a little longer. It's easier to work with, but it's not as spiky. And I want some of this. I want this real spiky, and I want it a little darker too. I want it natural but darker. So now that I've unspun my thread, I'm just going to take my bodkin and just split it open. If I can see, there we go. Take a little bit of my wax, and now I'm going to take my dubbing and put it in, spread it out just a bit, okay, and then I'm going to go up to close, and then I'm going to give my bobbin a good spin. Just let that spin up. And now I'm spinning back clockwise, counterclockwise to unwrap it, right, to flatten my thread. Now I want to go back clockwise again to grab this in. So now I'm just going to make sure I go in here and just grab some of these fibers that are loose. I'm going to go back to there. And now I'm just going to come forward with my, that's okay if it's a little scraggly looking there. I'm going to just put a little bit more. I'm just going to hand dub this on. It's not going to look quite as nice as the in a dubbing loop, but it'll be fine. Okay. Now some of this stuff you can just, if it's a little long, that's fine. So now I'm going to take my hollow tinsel and I'm going to go opposite the way I wrapped. Do 3 or 4 turns. Like I said, I don't want a lot of flash in this fly. I want it to be a little bit more natural looking. And if you've got a little spazzer like this one here, it's a little bit too much there. Nice. And same down here. I want it spiky, but I don't want it totally crazy. So now I'm going to just stroke some of this material back and gently, hopefully I don't break it. Wrap this forward and open palmers. And right here, do 1 full turn if possible, maybe even 2 if you can get it. And then tie that off, fold all that back, and I'm going to go right over top of that. I want that to be tied in really well. And just nip off my waist piece there. Just going to tie that back a bit more. And now I'm actually going to stroke all this back, and any of these real straggly fibers right at the eye, just give it a bit of a zap there with the lighter. So now I'm going to take a piece of my hen pheasant right off the wing here, down at the bottom of the wing. Let's see if you can see that properly. At the bottom of the wing, see these little feathers down in here? Those are the ones I'm going to use. So it's going to be a little bit of like a soft hackle, right? Fly when I'm finished here. So I'm just stripping off all the fluff, ending up with just a feather like that. I'm going to split it by the, I want to tie it in by the tip like that. And that's about all I want, is about that much. So again, stroke it and then cut off and make a little bit of a triangular tie-in point. Tie it in on my side, and I got a little bit of a hackle there, but that's okay. You can fold that back, and as I said, you can zap that with a lighter and you won't even know that it was ever there. So now I'm going to grab it with my hackle pliers, stroke all my material back. I want this all facing backwards, so shiny side out. And then try to keep this material going backwards. Okay, once it's all in, a couple of times over top, you can let go with your hackle plier. Fold it back again so you lock in that stem. Just going to do a quick little whip finish right there, just so I don't lose anything when I cut my stem off. Once the stem's cut off, I'm going to do one more set of whip finish. I don't want a big head on this, just enough. Nip that off. Take my dubbing brush, just give this a bit of a brush, and you can even use a Velcro. Got Velcro on the back of there, so you can even use the Velcro and just give that a little bit of a brush. And that is the finished fly. Like I said, it's a pretty simple little pattern. See if I can turn that for you guys so you guys can actually see it a little bit better. There we go. So it's a fairly simple little pattern, just the slightest little bit of flash coming from that copper in there. Nice and buggy looking, right? So it definitely looks like a hatched insect, or one that failed to hatch, or it's kind of just all scraggly and buggy, but a little bit of floatant on this if you want to keep it near the surface, or just let it just do its thing and just sit in the surface film. Alrighty, I'll tie lines, everyone. Hope you guys enjoyed that. If you did, give her a thumbs up. If you've subscribed, thank you. If you have not, please consider doing so. And once I reach 1,000 subscribers, I will be giving away a copy of the books that I've written. Let's just show you guys, for those that don't know. So the Freshman Fly Fisher's Insect Guide and the Freshman Fly Fisher's Guide to New Generation, as well as a selection of flies that I've tied on this channel. I'll be giving that away once I hit 1,000 subscribers. So, tie lines, everyone.